Okay, so we're going to talk about the R line. It's not really an R as a typical English speaker would think of an R. It's not ra, ri, ru, re, ro. It's da, di, ru, de, do. And this tends to be the most difficult sound for native English speakers to do. It's pretty easy if you know Spanish or pretty much any other language other than English, but if you only speak English, then this is really tricky. So I've got this diagram here. To show you how to do it. So this is kind of tricky, maybe a little too technical. Maybe this makes it more confusing than it needs to be, but if this helps you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. Okay, so this is a linguistic diagram of a mouth. We have our teeth here. This is our tongue. This is inside of our mouth up here. Yeah. So if you can imagine your mouth, the Japanese da, di, do, de, do sound, the R sound, is not a sound that we have in English. So it's actually probably closest to our like L sound in English. So I want you to feel the inside of your mouth and we're going to do an L sound. We go la, la, li, lu, le, lo, la. Where you're putting your tongue is right here. You are touching like this little flat area at the front of your mouth, right behind your teeth. If you feel it, there's like a little flat kind of like table in your mouth. And that's where we're saying la, la, right? So we basically want to do this, except we want to put our tongue in a slightly different place. We want to put our tongue right here. So if you feel that in your mouth, that little flat spot behind your teeth, and then you go just behind it, you'll feel that it kind of goes up. That's where we want to put our tongue. So we put our tongue there before we speak, and then we're going to push our tongue down when we make the R noise. Our jaw will also go down as we do it. So together at the same time we go da, 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 da. Okay, so we're gonna keep doing that. Da, di, do, de, do, da, di, do, de, do. It takes some time. So don't worry if you don't get it right away. It's a lot of practice. I think for me personally, living in Japan in full immersion, it took me a couple months to get it like nice enough that it didn't sound terrible. Um, it is a really strong accent. If you go around saying ra, ri, ru, re, ro, it doesn't sound nice. It's like a pretty ugly accent for Japanese people, I think. You will definitely sound more fluent if you can do this correctly and not do ra, ri, ru, re, ro. You'll definitely sound better if you use like da, ri, do, de, do. So yeah, you can work on that. And now I'll show you how to draw them. Okay, so first we have that. There's a couple ways to draw this. So the first way, probably the most correct way, I guess, for children to learn would be this one. So here's one stroke and two strokes, like that. Maybe I'll try that again. So one stroke, two stroke, like that. But Japanese people in handwriting and stuff, it tends to look more like this little guy here, like that. You'll see this one pretty often for Japanese handwriting and this one for like computer fonts. But I think I would recommend you can practice whichever one you like. I think either is fine to practice. Sometimes if they write really, really fast, this one can become like, it can actually be attached all the way through, just so you know. But don't practice it attached, practice it detached. I would say that's more proper. Okay, di, di. So di has a couple of ways too. The first way, like this, with a little hook on the first stroke, and it's completely detached. However, in handwriting, you will also often see this, like that. So either way is fine, attached or detached. I would say you can practice either way. They're both equally correct. Do, do, kind of like this. Mine might be a little bit extreme, like this. So the thing you want to look out for is this right here. You do not want to cross that over. So you don't want this. This is wrong. So that's do, do, da di do, da di do de do. Okay, so de is going to be pretty familiar. It looks a lot like ne. It starts a lot like ne and just ends differently. So we have our first stroke, just like with ne. We do this like Z thing, and then when we get here, instead of looping it around, we just flick it out. So, de, de. Um, you should be aware some handwriting in Japanese has de just like that. But don't practice it that way. You should definitely practice it like that. De, do, da, di, do, de, do, do is a lot like do, except we don't have a loop at the end of it. So the way that I remember the difference personally between do and do when I was first learning it, I remembered my do has a loop and this one has a loop, right? So I just like my do has a loop. So if it has a loop, it's do. If it doesn't, it's do. And I don't know how helpful that is for you, but that was helpful for me. Yeah, so da di do de do, da di do de do. I hope that this video was helpful for you. And yeah, so after this, make some flashcards, definitely practice your pronunciation as you go through it, and send me your assignments.